showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
They say humans are social animals. They can't live alone. But you can live pretty well by yourself. I tell you, instead of feeling alone in a group, it's better to have real solitude all by yourself.
Okay, all right, man. Yes, you know what you're listening to, or you know who you're listening to, you know what you're listening to. We are here for another episode in the bank this week. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Yeah, man, I'm here. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fantastic. No matter what's going on in the world, I'm always feeling good. You gotta pull the happiness out from the inside. Sometimes people call me super negative, but maybe I can be. Sometimes I get in my moods, I do, but then I try to turn that inside out and get all the kernels of happiness out onto this mic and out onto the world, man. It's all about positive energy, avoiding the negative people, because negative people are vampires. They suck out your energy. Who's texting me? Sorry, folks, that I got to do this. I always got to see who's texting me just to be sure. I don't know who this is. Oh, I know who that is. Yeah, that's business. Anyway, who you listen to? I am Nova Phoenix, your host on GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio. And we have another show to go over with you, all the topics and all the content's been happening on the news. And I guess we could get right to it. Why delay? All right, let's get into it, man. We got a lot of information we're going to talk about. Okay, first thing on the list, Fetty Wap, man. Fetty Wap. What the hell, man? What the hell? So, of course, everybody knows at this time he's been accused of being a part of a drug ring involving cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl, sent it out to Long Island, New Jersey. He was arrested at the Rolling Loud Festival. You know, right before he was to perform, the feds ran up on him and, pretty much gave him the rundown, and he got arrested along with Anthony Leonardi, a corrections officer, Brian Sullivan, and Kevon Wiggins. What the hell is going on with Fetty Wap? Yo, dude, you are an established MC. Let me not use that term loosely. Rapper. You are an established rapper. What are you doing selling all them drugs and moving them from the West Coast? They say he's moving it from the West Coast over into the Northeastern region. In the past year, the feds are accusing him of shipping about 100 kilos of these drugs, these pharmaceutical. It's crazy, man. I don't know how old Fetty Wap is. I guess he's old enough, I guess, to know how stupid he could get himself into this now. How ridiculous. Like, come on. A man with a half a brain know how much of a problem that is, right? You're not some regular, nondescript individual. Nobody know your face. You are Fetty Wap. People know you. Wherever you go, people are going to see, hey, that's Fetty Wap. Even if someone pulls a pacifier out of a child's mouth in a 5-block radius and you're within that 5-block radius, of course, Fetty Wap, you are going to get a finger pointed at you. So why in the what in Jacob Jehuzovitz is going on here that Fetty Wap gets caught with all these drugs, man? And this little run he was doing. All right, 100 kilos. Anybody knows what 100 kilos is? 100 kilos is kind of like, think of a beer keg, right? A single beer keg. It's almost like a 55-gallon drum. They're saying it's about, I forgot the weight. I forgot the equivalent of poundage, man. I forgot it. Anyway, 100 kilos. Think of that. Look it up. Google it. Google beer keg, right? And then a typical beer keg, and that's about a little over, I guess, 100 kilos. So you spread it out over a year. He's a little something. He wasn't no like drug cartel, but he definitely allegedly, let's say that for right now, allegedly was moving. So I don't understand, if he was hard up on cash. Fetty Wap is known in the industry enough where if he was hard up on cash, he could simply ask a friend, "Hey man, can you hit me up with 10 G's? I'm a little tight right now. I'm messed up." People in the industry, people outside. I mean, there's so many options for a rapper of his stature where he can actually get some sort of money other than trying to get it from selling cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl. That's the devil's drug right there, because fentanyl, they showed it on how much it can actually kill you. It's like a dusting that if you accidentally snort, you can actually, and they said that's what happened to my brother that passed away recently, the Brooklyn actor. Michael K. Williams, man. They said he is possible, supposedly, that he didn't know that he was taking fentanyl or something. It was mixed in with whatever he was taking, and he died. He wasn't trying to kill himself. That's what they're saying. So fentanyl ain't no regular degular. It ain't no like it ain't baby powder. All right, it's not. Apparently, I guess is worse than cocaine. The little bit that you can snort that could kill you. But that's what he was, and it's crazy. And I want everybody to put this in perspective here, right? It's messed up what Fetty Wap does, right? But we all understand how black men are treated in this country. You can, and especially the information, the evidence that they've shown when it comes to crack cocaine versus powder cocaine, how you could get a whole lot, a gazillion years on a little bit of crack cocaine when it comes to regular powder cocaine. Of course, powder cocaine is for the rich and the wealthy and white folk typically, right? That is a slap on the wrist. So, I mean, in no way am I trying to make it seem that what Fetty Wap did was cool in some sort of way based on the amount. But 100 kilos, as I said, is about a beer keg over a year's time. Now, keep in mind, that is small potatoes. It's small potatoes. And for me, that's even more so. I'm like, what the fuck are you selling this anyway? Small potato. Pablo Escobar, everybody know Pablo Escobar. They said Pablo was moving back in the 1980s. In the 1980s, Pablo Escobar was moving 70 to 80 tons of cocaine into the United States of America. He was supplying about 3/4 of the people buying cocaine, 3/4 of America as far as who he was supplying. 70 to 80 tons. They say about roughly 10 to 15 tons a day. So that's another calculation that someone was given. Tons. 2,000 pounds is 1 ton. 2,000 pounds. And here it is, Fetty Wap, he only moved 100 kilos. 100 kilos. What? Now, of course, when you talk about that amount that Pablo Escobar was moving, that wasn't like, he was stuffing car tires. He was putting it, inside car door panels. My man was shipping I'm talking about the shipping container crates of cocaine. I mean, serious. And it wasn't just the people in the know on the Colombian side. There were people in the know on the U.S. side as well. I think they say he was like the 6th or 7th richest man at the time. He was making billions of dollars off of cocaine. So, Fetty Wap and him moving this little, in comparison to Pablo Escobar, that little 100 kilos over a year. Oh my God, bro, that's nothing. That's foot powder. You get a little fungus on your pinky toe. You just put that and you just sprinkle that a little bit. That ain't nothing. But it's upsetting that this news came out and this dude got arrested, and I can't say anything. All I can say is allegedly, and hey man, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's all I can say at this point. So if he did get caught and the evidence is stacked again, I don't think we'll ever see Fetty Wap ever again after that sentencing, because they gonna put the whole building on him and hit the cohorts on his alleged a drug little run he was doing. Anyway, shout out to Jay-Z. Speaking of rappers, shout out to Jay-Z. And I'm going to use this in the right sense, MC, because I do believe he's an MC in a lot of different ways. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he so deserved it. My brother so deserved it. Dave Chappelle introduced him, gave a wonderful intro to my man Jay-Z, and he was doing this thing, nice in a bow tie, black suit, traditional. And he was giving his thank you speech, and he shouted out at everybody. Everybody was over there. One person he did forget to shout out, but I'm sure it wasn't intentionally. He was shouted out Jazzo for giving his start. He did kind of smooth things over with Dame Dash. They still on the outs, and but he did at least acknowledge the work that Dame Dash did with at the time when they was going hard, and they record labels was messing with him. They had to do Rockefeller Records. So I thought that was he was very he was a big man to do something like that. So big ups to Jay-Z for really doing what he did by acknowledging Dame Dash. And actually what happened after that, they said that Dame Dash is trying to squash it now. He was some news article came out saying that Dame Dash heard what Jay said, and they said it's time to put all their differences aside, and hopefully so, man. I don't know, because I've been watching Dame for a long time, and I can kind of understand sometimes why people can get upset with Dame, because Dame could be kind of like in your face with his personality. Not that he's wrong, it's how he says it, and he's been on the Breakfast Club a couple times and doing a lot of different interviews, and sometimes people may take the way he says things a certain way. I get it. I understand it. But, when you got other people around you, like, yo, son, you trying to sub me? Yo, it sound like you trying to sub me. And a lot of people may not like that. I'm not going to front. I may not like that. I'm like, yo, dude, I get your point, but you got to put it like that. So, hopefully these two brothers can work things out, and not as far as music is concerned. Maybe they could get into some other business venture and, but let's see what happens. But big ups to Jay-Z, man. Big ups to my brother, man. He keeps on doing big things every time. So, yeah. So we all know what's going on with Sleepy Joe. As I call him, Sleepy Joe. Yeah, I saw some kind of a news clip where my man President Biden was falling asleep at some speech thing, and hey, man, listen, I'm not saying we're gonna have to get into the area of ageism, but I think for the future we should kind of start leaning towards younger candidates for president, because when you get to a certain age, man, things start honestly start deteriorating. Your mental capacity, your physical body, and there's some really healthy 80-year-old men. Don't get me wrong, real healthy, but the likelihood that you're gonna have a healthy elder statesman, it's very rare, man. It's very rare. And I think there should be, you got to screen people before they become president. That's personally for me. And I guess I'm flirting with ageism, but it's kind of like this, right? Anyone can drive, right? No matter what age. But at a certain point, we have to realize that your grandma, your grandpa that's been driving for 50 years, they're like 82, 83. They half blind. Their reflexes is kind of like 5 seconds after the fact. And they're getting behind a 2,000-pound car and driving it at 50 miles an hour. So, and everybody has that grandmother or grandfather that's gotten into too many accidents and they hit a building. They like, I didn't see that. So if we can kind of come on, grandpa, I think it's time for you to relinquish your car keys. You know what I mean? I don't think you should be driving right now. Anybody could have seen that stop sign. You ran into the stop sign. So if we can understand that for when older people, and I give all my props to our senior citizens, I respect my elders, but we also have to realize that, after a certain while, they should stop driving. They should let other people drive for them. Or in the 21st century, how we got it, you either call up an Uber or call a Lyft. And it's the same thing with the presidential seat. After a certain while, no, you should not. All right, because it's just, as a president, you got to be sharp, you got to be quick-witted, you got to know how to handle people, you got to be able to, to peep things. Things get a little dull after a while. So anyway, so Biden, good old Biden, oh my God. So as far as the immigrants are concerned, so the news it's set the world aflame. Well, I guess anyway, the certain journalistic sectors or circles, that is, that he is considering, not him, but Congress, and he's going along with it, considering to give the immigrants that were captured at the border and the kids jailed, that they're considering giving them some sort of compensation, quote unquote reparations, $450,000. Yeah. So he's saying that. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So everybody knows what the word is. So, and a lot of people feel some type of way, especially black folk, of course. And I talked about it last week. But it's just funny. It's just funny that we are talking about this again. And it's funny. There's no word. Nothing from his communications. Who's his communication? Jen Psaki, whatever his communications person. The red-haired lady communications. I forget her name. Biden. Psaki. I think it's Psaki. Psaki. And I said her name too. Jennifer Psaki. So no word from them. No word from Biden whatsoever. We don't hear. I'm not saying he has to do a speech on this, but no tweet. No statement, no words from Psaki, as far as I know. I'm not on the news, cycle 24/7, so I don't know if he actually gave something to her to say, but nothing. So they're actually considering this. They're considering. And a lot of people will be like, well, it's just considering. They didn't sign anything. Yeah, but the fact that the matter that is on the airwaves with the consider part, and here we are, and I brought up even in terms of reparations, again, let's put reparations aside. It's a big number. When you're dealing reparations with generational black Americans, it's a big number. I get it. All right. In ways, I do get it, because you're damn near, if you try to come up with another, you might as well just split America into two parts and give one to black Americans. I mean, because the number is so big, you're dealing with 400 years of oppression. And put all the negative, destructive, disgusting adjectives within that 400 years on what black people. It's hard to come up with a number. Yeah, I know. I get it. How can you put a number on human suffering that went over generations, over centuries, right? So let's put that aside for a second. And as I said, the people of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all the other cities that got burnt down, if we want to be specific, right? We have people that, as I said before, that haven't gotten a single dime. So you want to give $450,000 to people, and I have to say, I feel like I did say this last week. I feel like I said this, but I'm going to say it again. $450,000 to immigrants, and they're not even, and it's nothing, I'm not even anti-immigrant. Shoot, I'm an immigrant myself in a lot of ways, my family, right? So I'm not saying that. I get it. That's a separate issue, right? I get that. With the suffering that they went through in that moment, in that space and time, I get that. There should be some sort of compensation. I'm with that. All right. But let's put that aside, right? Put that in the air. Put that right there in column B on the side there. Now, if we were going to talk about compensation and reparations, quote unquote, use that term loosely, because every time when people say reparations, people automatically think, slavery. I'm not talking about that. That's a whole nother subject. I'm talking about immediate compensation, financial compensation to what people suffered, say, in the last 100 years. And we want to not just talk about what happened to people in Tulsa. We want to talk about redlining when it comes to where people live. We want to talk about banking and financing. We want to talk about what schools our kids go to if they're properly funded. We want to talk about real estate. We want to talk about taxes. We want to talk about, are we treated fairly when it comes to buying products or in terms of cars, anything? Are they upcharging us? Are they upcharging in comparison to our white counterparts? All these things that black people still, not talking about institutional racism, what black people went through for 4 centuries. I mean, what we continue to go through up to this point, 2021, is shouldn't there be some compensation? Are we going to deal with that, not just in money, but in laws? And yes, we do have certain laws in place. Yes, it's going to protect people that has to be enforced. I get that. But in this specific situation, when we're talking about money, if you're willing to give it to Afghans, and correct myself, I said Afghanistans. I didn't mean that. If I did say that, I meant Afghans in reference to people that live in Afghanistan. My bad if I did say that. To the Afghans, if you're willing to give money to the Afghans. Okay, 70,000 people you want to give money to, and they're set up. And I heard, supposedly, this is what I heard on the grapevine, that Afghans that are already here live in nice apartments in California. Better than a lot of people. Eating very well. And I say that because they're non-citizens and yet they're given compensation, financial compensation. Now, what happened to the Latino folks down there that came over that they were suffering, put in cages and no food and starving and everything, family scattered. Okay. They're giving money. Okay, fine, put that aside. Now let's deal with black folk. Stop playing around, right? At this point, black people are not taking any more shit. They see the bullshit. They see it. As I said before last week, no more signs, no more benches, no more Black Lives Matter that's permanently with yellow brick is going to be in Washington, D.C. Road. I think I saw that in Washington, D.C. If I got that state wrong. Okay, yo, cut the check. Martin Luther King said that. Cut the check. In bold letters, big and bold. 50 points large on a piece of paper on the front of that document. Cut the check. Now these people are what we dealing with when it comes to the voting in the last. What there was a Democratic governor that lost in Virginia. A lot of votes got taken away. A lot of black votes. People not voting. Black people like, yo, fuck this bullshit. If people ain't listening, black voters will be like, yo, fuck y'all. I'm not voting for you. The conversation is already being said that black people always vote Democratic. Yes, and it's true in a lot of different ways. I have family that do vote Democrat and saying, hey, listen, wait a second. Before we just vote because they just Democrat, let's see what they're about. And a lot of times I'm saying you have to understand there are nuance. There's a nuance to this. There are layers to this. It's checkers, is what people say. It's chess. It ain't checkers. People got to start figuring out it's just more than Democrat and Republican. What's going on here? Pull the curtain. What's going on behind the curtain? So black people ain't take no business, and black people, rightfully so, shouldn't be taking no more business. But my thing is, it's not just not to vote. I'm saying, again, use your vote strategically and not just use it as the only source. There should be another plan that you can have, a plan A, plan B, what you decide to do outside of voting. It's just one thing, voting. So don't sit on your hands, because a lot of times that's what Republicans and the opposing side wants you to do. They want to keep you outside the realm of voting. So my thing is, vote. You don't have to vote for the what they want to give you that's on 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 11, but vote for someone that's going to represent the people. No more first. I keep on saying, this is the first black. This is the first black woman. This is the first Asian American. This is the first. And I said it time and again, all over and over again. The first don't matter no more. What do you plan to do when you sit in that seat? Are you for the people, or are you for yourself, or are you for whoever's paying your campaign? What's going on? What side are you standing on? because a lot of people are hurting, a lot of people are suffering. And people don't want to hear no more of that same rigmarole story. And you want to shake hands and bump gums, and all of a sudden you want to sit in that seat, and all of a sudden you can't do nothing no more. Oh, well, I know what I said. So yeah, black people ain't taking that jazz. But I encourage black voters to vote, but just don't vote on the people that they think you should vote on. They push in your face. Vote for that person. Stand by someone that does not have the campaign financing as the more the main candidate. Someone is, of course, what it's saying. I was listening to one candidate for mayor. You have to raise $150,000 or something, or else to at least be in the talks, in the debate. Of course, they're doing that so they can limit the amount of people that have a voice, right? So the people have to gather and fund that individual. You have to develop a grassroots campaign. If they're saying that you have to have a certain amount of money, raise the funds with the people. You got to have a plan to get out there. There's so many different ways where you can get that your voice and your messages. There's social media, Prime, YouTube. There's getting on other people's platforms, on other people's podcasts. There's so many ways other than through traditional means of, say, the Hot 97, or I don't know, some AM station, or when it comes to radio, when it comes to television. There's so many other ways online in this 21st century, right? You got to raise the money, because they're going to shove someone in your face and say, hey, vote for this guy. He's out for you. And really, they're not. If they're telling you to vote for that guy, I say from here on out, if they're telling you, hey, vote for this guy, push him aside. Who else can we vote for? Matter of fact, we selected someone and we funded them, and you bring him up to the front, or her up to the front, and you say, okay, this is the person that I would like to represent me, not who you think I should vote for. On either side, Democrat or Republican. That's how you change the landscape. That's how you create choices for yourself. Don't allow them any room to give you the person that you think you should vote for. You give them to yourself. Hey, listen, you're going to run. Hey, we select you to run for us, to represent us, the people. Not because they got financing their campaign $11 million and all of a sudden they're going to play like they're progressive. They're going to play like they're for the people. No. So, yeah, as I said, black people ain't messing around with Biden no more. They ain't messing with Biden. We already knew from way back in the day. I said, I didn't vote for Biden because I was a Biden cheerleader. I didn't like Trump. I didn't like anything he was standing for. He's a racist. He was a bigot. He was a racist. Not just even that, as a racist, as big as all the R words you want to, white supremacist, not even all that. It was just a man of bad character. He's a fool. He was an idiot. He was trying to look out for himself. And it was so obvious and in your face. I'm like, this is the guy? This is the guy? So, yeah, get him out the way. That was the first. And then, okay, vote for Biden. That's the guy. That's what you got as a choice for right now on the federal level. But, of course, I had my own skepticism. I'm like, yo, put his feet to the fire. Now he's in there. Put his feet to the fire. He's saying, oh, I'm sorry I did this. I'm sorry I did that. Okay, fine. Yeah, well, I'm good. Okay, now what you going to do? And, of course, that's what makes it so, like, the audacity of it all. And somewhere people say the caucasity. Because you said all this, you even said on Power 105 on the Breakfast Club, you was like, well, if you ain't voting for me, you ain't black. You had the nerve to say that. You had the nerve, people corrected you. Wait a second. What you talking about? We ain't got to vote shit for you. We ain't got to put nothing behind you. Don't ever put my blackness into question that I have to vote for you. Don't ever do that. The presumption. The caucasity. And then he goes to say that. He has the balls to go on this to go say that. He gets in, right? Landslide. He gets in, all of a sudden what he do? Nothing. No police reform, no voting rights, no nothing. We ain't talking about anything that black people was talking about, anything that was not just for black people, but also for progressives. Nothing. He turned his back easy, like, and we can't do nothing. The caucasity, man, the caucasity. That's what I'm saying. So here we go, right? So that's why I always say, he had Cinema and Manchin, and he was like, well, I can't really do anything. And Cinema was saying, Manchin is really in. I said, maybe they was talking all that business, talking about, oh, we got the House, we got the Senate, it's even, right? It's 50-50. All we got to do is get a Kamala Harris in there for the deciding vote. Yeah, we just going to do all this stuff. Not just what in terms of what black voters was asking for, just in general, hey, listen, we're going to turn this thing around because we know how Trump was doing, but we're going to get this right for the people, right? That's what they were saying. They were saying all that political mumbo jumbo. And people were going for it. You're like, yeah, sure, yeah. All right, let's do it. All right, we got this. People were feeling, energized. They were backing him. They said, we're gonna turn this. All right. And what did they say? Well, Manchin, out of nowhere, this guy comes out of nowhere. He's in. Biden's in there. Manchin was like, I ain't going for that. Huh? Then he gets his freaking his the puppet, the next one coming out. Well, they had to get somebody. Who's gonna stand with man? Cinema. Yeah. I agree with Manchin. What? I don't know. Nothing was being said. You have been in politics for 20, 30, 40 years. You already know the people that are not going to stand with you. So you already have a plan. Don't act like these people don't talk with each other and they don't stand in the same room and they don't discuss topics together. They already knew who Manchin and Cinema was. So you should have had a plan, a strategy, plan A, a plan B, a plan C. Okay, if this dude steps out of line, this is what we're gonna do. Or what you should do as president. I mean, Republicans do it all the time. They throw bows all the time and they get what they want, no matter what people say. And they say, hey, this is what we're gonna do anyway. All of a sudden, the Democrats come in and it's like, oh well, Manchin did say, well, he has his right. He's right. Right? Oh, whoa. Right? So I'm like, is it Manchin and Cinema? Or is this what you wanted? Because it doesn't make sense for the Republicans to do what they want. You said all this stuff in the campaign. Now you getting in and it's like, well, that's what Manchin said. We got to process. Everybody's talking about the filibuster and how the just knock down the filibuster. Well, we can't really do nothing but, So is Manchin the monkey wrench in the works, or was this how it was supposed to work? This is my thought. It doesn't make sense to me. I saw a brother sharing a video on his IG talking about there was a news, I don't know, political, I forgot the name of the guy. Oh my God, I forgot his name. But he was talking about, the Democrats are soft. The Democrats are soft and they're going to lose and they're not going to get black voters. Something to that effect. I can't remember the whole thing. But I'm like, really? Is it that? And he wanted to blame like Cinema and you thrown in all these other excuses on why the Democrats are soft and how they're going to lose 22, 24, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but really? Really? Think about it. As I said before, Cinema and Manchin didn't come out of nowhere. Everybody knows who everybody is. These are old, veteran politicians. They know Cinema. They know how Manchin going to get down. And then all of a sudden, things don't work out for the Democrats because they're just too soft, quote, the air quotes I'm using. Well, then, because it was Manchin and Cinema, I don't know. It just seems just too easy. It seems too neat that you could just point a finger at Manchin and Cinema and say, well, that's why the Democrats, characteristically, they are soft. And then you have like Manchin and Cinema, we just couldn't get anything done. It just sounds too neat. It's too expected. And that's why I feel that the Republicans and the Democrats, they play this push and pull game, right? They push and pull, and it's this game that they play in front of the eyes of the millions of eyes and ears of the people and saying, okay, you pull this way, I'm going to push. And sometimes they make it seem that they're pulling in two different directions, but no, one side is allowing the other one to pull, and they're going to give a little push along the way. It's this game that's being played to make it seem like they're two opposing forces when it's just the same face. It's two what do they say? I'm sorry. Two wings to the same bird. So I'm like, it just doesn't make sense to me, because I'm looking at it and I'm listening to these people talking about the Democrats on NBC, on CNN. You know, these people talk, well, you know, they're saying they're being honest and this is how the Dems are gonna lose. And I'm like, no, man. It's too easy. It's just too easy just to blame two people. Because it doesn't happen on the other side. And there was just all this talk before, and then now everything's in place. The pieces are in place, as they said, and all of a sudden they come to that line and nothing could get done. Nothing could get done. Oh, really? And that's why people are upset, because a lot of times these folks are treating the American people like fools. And they'll concentrate and they'll throw cameras in people's faces on opposing sides. One of the people, the heavy Trumpers that, you know, unfortunately, they have their own crazy reasons why they voted for this dude. And they'll tell people, look at this Trumper. This guy, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. See how half a brain he is? And so the people that they're catering to that's watching this news, we say, yeah, look at these guys. They're such idiots. Well, that's why I didn't vote for Trump. No wonder. And then on the other side, they put it the Trump to the progress. Well, they're socialists and they're communists and they're you know, they want to make this place like China. And those people on the opposite side are looking back and they're saying, see, listen, because they've been socialized in the ways of capitalism and American exceptionalism. And so they think everything else is wrong. America as it stands is right. The world is wrong, America's right. That's how most Americans have been socialized. That's how they've been indoctrinated to believe. So now when you present any other different viewpoints, they're the ones that's stupid. He's a socialist, and socialist is used as a curse word, and communist is used as a curse word. So as soon as you throw out those words, people get triggered. They slip back into that mode of thought that they've been trained in, and they automatically shut down. So you got two sides not seeing eye to eye. So now one side sees it that person in that way, the other side sees this group in this particular way, and nothing can get done. We're separated. And all the while, the coffers just diminishes every little bit, because nothing really changes. Nothing really changes. The progressives or the leftists are still poor. They have these what they want as far as what this country should be or what their society should be, but they're still poor. These conversations remain at the kitchen table, the dining room table, and the far right people, they're still poor. Sometimes poorer, but hey man, at least I'm holding on to my whiteness. That sometimes it goes hand in hand with American exceptionalism. At least I can believe in my whiteness. At least you protect it. All right. Because it was that guy over there. It's those brown people and black people. That's the problem. And all these people with these H1 visas, whatever it's called. I'm sorry, folks. With these visas, and they coming in and taking our jobs, because that's what you're saying they're doing. Protect me. That's what it is. And a lot of times that's what Trump is doing. He's dog whistling. Because when I talk to Trump people, they always say, oh, well, you know, he says it like it, what does they say? He tells it like it is or whatever. He tells it like it is. He just straight up, he just tells the people, that's why they don't like him. I'm like, what does he say? You saying he's telling it like it is, like it should be. What exactly is he saying that you feel that he's raw and uncut and telling, quote unquote, the truth? What does he say? And a lot of times, it's this dog whistling. It's not about the lie. He'll say, well, you know, that pink elephant came and they stole the votes. And the aliens came out the sky, and little green men just piled out this saucer-shaped thing, and they stole the voting machines, and that's why I lost. And it's not about the lie. I was telling her, I said that to Teslin Figaro on her IG. And she was talking about how the lie, it's not the lie. Forget about the lie. So forget how outlandish it is. Matter of fact, that's even better. The more outlandish, the better. Because when people hear it in California, that some green aliens came out the sky and stole voting booths, and that's why Trump lost, he's not talking about the aliens. He's dog whistling to those folks that have been socialized, the racists, the hardcore racists, saying, yes, they stole it from me. What are you going to do about it? He's just feeding them this silliness so they can regurgitate it to the people that's challenging that. They know it's stupid. They know it's ridiculous, even when you give them hard factual truth, and evidence, and they say, no, it's not that. And you're looking at it as a person of sound mind, you're looking at them saying, but, I don't understand, right? It baffles you. But it's not about the truth. And it's not even about the lie. It's the dog whistle to say they stole it. These brown people and all these crazy ass other white folk, quote unquote woke white folk, all these other crazy out of their minds white people, and you have to take it back. So they're never going to say, well, I voted for Trump because he's for white people. They're not going to say that. They're not going to say that to you. And of course, we see it because the checkbox is there, but they'll say something crazy to you because freaking green aliens came out the sky and stole the voting booth. That's just the cover. The truth is, I need for you to protect my whiteness. And I will say anything just so I could walk about this on this earth, on this block, on the city block, in this county, wherever I'm coming from, and I could just say it loud and proud. Yes, the green aliens, you guys called them. Yes, I want this country back. And you know what I'm going to do? On January 6th, I'm going to take it back. He's feeding them the lies to live in their bubble. So they can walk about this earth in the bubble. But really, we all know it's about racism. But they're never going to say it's about that. Understand? Because racists never like to be called racist. So they have to think up some cockamamie thing to justify their actions. It's not about the lies, the dog whistle. They're talking to each other. So anyway, go off and about Trump. And sometimes he's a good example. Like Trump was in your face. Biden is more like, hey man, I'll pat you on the back. Hey, rubbing your back. Hey, I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. Oh, we just can't get that done. I'm so sorry. In the next 4 years. Understand what I'm saying? So yeah, people really have to see this for what it is, and then they have to go back to their homes, go back to their communities. They have to select their own candidates that they're going to back them. You have to fund them. You have to do it yourself. You have to raise your money. You have to avoid all the propaganda, right? That's saying, oh, this is the guy you want, right? You have to get other ways where the word could get out. Right? If they can't be on that debate panel or whatever it is on Channel 7, have them set up their own debate, their own talking points on their own channel on YouTube. Let them talk about that. Yeah, there's ways to go about this. Because me of my 44 years of life, and I'm saying this, me in my 44 years, I see the okie doke. I see it. And it's like, huh? And I'm not saying turn this shit upside down. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying change in the terms of how people earn money. And I'm not saying any of those things. I'm saying, hey, listen, you have to give people a fair shot of having a quality life. Healthcare. People don't have to be in the poorhouse if something happens to get cancer. People should have living wages. People should get vacation. There should be paternity leave. There should be maternity leave so people can actually raise their children. All these things should be given to the people. There should be no reason why the richest country in the world can't have this happen. We have to do something about student loan debt. You have to give the new generation a chance to have a quality life with the education that they're going after. The very people that, and I talk to a lot of the old timers, the very people that went to school for $5,000-$6,000 a year or semester or whatever, they said, I was able to go to college, have a job, and live on my own, and pay for school. And here it is. Now they're 65 years old, 70 years old. They're running these schools, these universities. And now all of a sudden, these very same people, when they were 18 decades ago, are allowing this to happen for the new generation of students to now owe $100,000. What is going on in your mind? What happened? How did we go so quickly into the doldrums where logic escapes everyone? And it was okay for you to be able to pay for school, to get an education, to get that house, the white picket fence, the 2 kids, the dog, all that, the American dream, as they said it. But now the very air that you're breathing alongside the new generation people, that they're your kids. Yeah, they're not your bloodline, but the new generation, they are practically your kids in the community that you grew up in. All of a sudden, now they have to pay $100,000 and they can't live by themselves and they're paying it forever. What psychotic bullshit is this? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying crack open the earth and let America fall in and all of a sudden, I'm not saying Armageddon. I'm just saying give people a chance to have a quality life. So anyway, what's next on the list? All right. So Dune. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Dune was a great movie, man. A lot of people's talking about Dune. I've always been a Dune fan. I haven't read the books. I was just really in love with the story when Dune came out back in, what was the first Dune? Came back in the 80s. And it wasn't a big hit. That movie didn't really splash on the scene, but it started to grow a loyal following and people fell in love with the story. And then all the books came out and, people went with it. There's ton of Dune books. And even his son, Frank Herbert, I think Frank Herbert wrote let me just make sure we got it here. Frank Herbert. Yeah, Frank Herbert. I just want to make sure I'm saying his name right. His son took over and he wrote his own books. I mean, the story Dune is there's a huge world out there. And I think in a lot of ways, it would have more of a profound impact than Star Wars. And I'm a Star Wars fan. But when you read the story and you understand the story, just watch the movie, you say, wow, there's some material here and there's some real things. I think it get hit in the same way that Matrix did when it came out, if the story is told right. I think his name is Denis Villeneuve. He's a French Canadian and he's a director. He did a lot of things. And I always liked his work since, even with Blade Runner, when he did Blade Runner. And I thought that was dope. What is it, 2049? I think it is 2049. One of them. I think he just has an eye for scenery and scenic images. When it comes to the background of the horizon, when it comes to ships or moons or whatever, he paints that picture with the DP that he uses, director of photography. So he did a great job crafting the gorgeous landscape of the world and all the settings. I just love it. I think all the actors did their thing. The Dune characters, these are professionals. I really like how they settled into their roles and really connected with each other on screen. Do I have like a favorite? I don't think anyone, to me, and this is my opinion, I don't think really anyone really came out and shined for me. A lot of people like, what's that kid's name that plays Paul Muad'Dib? What's that kid's name? The actor, cast. Let me see if I can bring up the cast. Dune cast. I want to get Timothée Chalamet, another French name. So a lot of people like Timothée Chalamet. I think he's I think he's pretty dope. I like him. what's her name really likes him. Grace Randolph from Beyond the, I forgot the name of the show. Everything, I forget everything. Grace Randolph from Beyond the Trailer. Oh man, Grace Randolph loves Timothy Chalamet. I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, he's good, but he's not like. I don't understand what was with the big hang up. I think he did his thing. I don't know. I can't say. I would have to watch it. I was trying to watch it a second time, but I got so much things going on. Sometimes I just. But I think everybody did their thing. I think the script was pretty cool. The script was dope. The story of the Dune world, and when you're talking about the Atreides, the House of Atreides, and the changeover for people to steward Arrakis and the Harkonnens. I don't know why people keep on getting these names wrong. I swear, God, Dune lovers, please correct them. People be butchering these names. Harkonnens. It's not Harkonnens. It's Harkonnens. And he. Talk to Frank Herbert's son. How do you say these names, man? Sometimes the Bene Gesserit, people be messing up the names. Bene Gesserit, not Bene Gesserit. Bene Gesserit, man. Look, the world is dope, man. And the world is I'm looking forward to part 2. They already announced there's going to be a part 2. And I want them to get more into the Bene Gesserits. I want them to get into more of the Fremen, who they are, where they came from, and it's a beautiful story, man. I think the Children of Dune. There was a movie that came out, a TV movie that came out, Children of Dune, off of the book Children of Dune, and who knew? I didn't even know what's his name was in that. Let me just see here over here. I had no idea he was the guy, the cast TV movie. He played Leto Atreides, James McAvoy. I had no idea. I remember seeing this short series on TV when it came out back in the day. It came out in 2003. Crazy. Who knew, man? James McAvoy. Wow. When you get to Children of Dune, the story does start to get wild. Some people might be like, "Oh my God, where are we going with this?" Yeah, it does really start getting like crazy. But I think if it's crafted right, when you do part 2 and part 3, I know they're going to I don't think it's just going to be a trilogy. There's so much material here. You can easily do kind of the same thing what they did with Star Wars and go into 4, 5, 6. If you really want to flesh out the world of Dune, I mean, the material is there. It has heft. It has weight, and it's expansive. So I think if you want to do Children of Dune, definitely, based on who's going to be the writer to adapt some of that story from Children of Dune book, you could kind of wrangle that in. I didn't even read the book. I just read the cheat sheet online, and I was looking at Children of Dune because I saw the movie, and I was like, wow, they're really stretching it. I like the fact that there are no computers. I think we always watch movies when it comes to science fiction where the computers and robots are always there, kind of like helping humans along. And I like how, and it's definitely, you could go into detail on why computers are not used anymore. Computers were used before, like 10,000 years prior, but they felt like computers was too much of a crutch for human beings, and they started to get rid of them, and they concentrated more on human development and human advancement within self. So I like that fact, and I hopefully they could get into detail about that. Definitely, it has the potential to be bigger than the Matrix, because Matrix was so dope, not just because of the visuals, but the material, the content, what they were talking about. The Matrix and how, what world are we living in? Is our world a lie? Is it the truth? How do we really break out of that? Can we be Neo? Or are we just trapped in this Matrix and because it's just perfect for us? And I thought the first one, I mean, there was so many philosophical avenues that you can run down with the Matrix. I think that had a deep impact on people when they saw the Matrix. And I think Dune could do the same thing if it's done right. It does have the story. There's plenty of story. I had one problem. Here's my problem. And of course I have to say it. The POCs, Denise, is that the French way? Is that the French way of saying it? Denise? French Canadian. He's a guy. Dennis. He's Denis. That's how it's spelled. Denis. All right. So the French way of saying it is Denis. I was asking. That's my wife in the background. Denis Villeneuve. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not going deep with him. I'm not going to call him the big capital R. I'm not going to say that. But I think the way the POC characters were, they was just like off. Yeah, sorry about that. Spoiler. If you haven't seen Dune, I'm sorry. All right. So spoiler. You can't. I don't know where you should skip ahead, but I'm just letting you know. So the characters that were the POCs, like they got off. I'm like, damn, bro. Even the part where Paul Atreides at the end, right, where he meets one of the Fremen, the black Fremen dude, and he's like, yo, listen, I'm gonna come and rock with you guys because I'm trying to get back at the Harkonnen. I'm translating. I'm trying to get back at the Harkonnens. I'm rolling with you guys for right now because that's what my dreams are saying, and I'm rocking with y'all. So where we going? And the black Fremen dude was like, hell nah, you ain't rolling with us. You ain't made of that same stuff. So you know what? You think you down with this? All right, we gonna have to fight to the duel. So I'm like, oh, they gonna fight? Okay, cool. All right, let's see how they gonna do this. Boom, boom. And you see earlier in the movie that Paul Atreides is having these dreams of this particular Fremen guy. So you think that how it's played, that he's going to be the teacher of Paul Atreides to teach him about the ways of the Fremen and how to live on the planet of Arrakis, right? So I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, they probably gonna, they probably gonna end in a tie off, or he ain't gonna. He offed them. I'm like, damn, it was so dope. It would have been so dope if my man was able to live. Like, I mean, I was really interested in this dude's character, but they offed him. So I'm like, all right, cool. All right, whatever. So everybody knows, of course, this is a spoiler. So, the dude, my man that plays Duncan Idaho, he got, oh my God, let me get him in the Dune. Let me get the Dune cast here. Dune cast. And why do I not remember his name? So, hey, man, I don't remember nobody's names. I just like the movie. Jason Momoa. So he plays Duncan Idaho. He gets kind of, all right, he's off. I'm like, all right, cool. I get it. All right, fine. So Jamis, that's the black Fremen's name, Jamis. He got off, right? So, all right. So there's another character. She wasn't Fremen, but she lived amongst the Fremen, and she was kind of the I guess the guide to bring Paul Atreides and his mother, or the Atreides family, whatever, to Arrakis to kind of introduce them, right? So of course the whole Harkonnen battle ensues or whatever, and she's like, yo, I gotta get out of here. Yo, don't worry about it. I got you guys. I believe the scene is right. She's speaking to Paul and the mother because, the pops got off, so they're trying to get away. So I'm thinking, all right, she's there. She's gonna lead. She's gonna go back to the outpost or wherever these Fremen live on the rocks of Arrakis, and we'll see her later. No. Her name is Sharon Duncan Brewster. She played Liet Kynes. I believe that's she was the doctor. So I'm like, damn. I mean, ain't nobody gonna live is melanated? Everybody getting knocked off. So I was interested to see how her character was gonna play out. Possibly go into part 2 and part 3 or something if they want to offer. But in the first movie of Dune, everybody was getting iced. I'm like, damn. I mean, all the main characters that you think they're gonna be developed, I'm like, well, so much for her. So that's how I felt. I was just like, ain't ain't no black people gonna live. Oh, one black dude did live. His name was Stephen McKinley Henderson. That was the actor. He played Fufa, the human computer. So I guess not all the black people left. So, I don't know. So, but other than that, I like Dune. It was pretty cool. It was pretty dope. Let's see what happens in part 2. Let's see how they're gonna play this one out. Anyway, so Tesla is $1 trillion company. Elon Musk is 3 times richer because of this. 3 times richer than Warren Buffett. Excuse me, I didn't finish that sentence. He's 3 times richer than Warren Buffett. And with this news, this fresh news that came out, of course, you're going to hear a response. So people are saying, okay, Elon, what you going to do with this money? Can some billionaires or some of the rich elite give some portion of their money to help hunger, right? That's what they're saying. So I don't know who said it online. Do I have this tab up? Okay. Some dude by the name Dr. Eli David, he actually said 2% of Elon Musk's wealth is $6 billion. In 2020, the UN World Food Program raised $8.4 billion. How come it didn't solve world hunger? No, I'm sorry. My bad. He's questioning, can it be done? Because someone was asking him about giving money for world hunger. So it was saying last week, David Beasley, the director of the UN's World Food Program, told CNN that it was time for the ultra wealthy to step up now on a one-time basis, quote unquote, in order to, quote, help 42 million people that are literally going to die if we don't reach them. He specifically mentioned Musk and Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, the 2 richest men in the world. So then Dr. Eli David, then he said with a fact check, he said 2% of Elon Musk is $6 billion. In 2020, the UN World Food Program raised 8.4. How come it didn't solve world hunger? So then Elon Musk kind of chimes in and says, if the World Food Program can describe on this Twitter thread exactly how $6 billion will solve world hunger, I will sell Tesla stock right now and do it. Yeah. So they do have a point, I have to say. Elon has a point. And this guy, Dr. Eli David, also has a point. $8.4 billion was raised by the World Food Program, and we still had starving people. You got to be careful what you say, man. You got to be careful what you say. All right? Because before, a long time ago, people were just shamed, right, by people saying certain things, and people kind of ran off in the corner. But now nowadays, people are like facing it. All right, getting in people's face. Okay, so then what y'all been doing with it? That's gonna happen because you can't throw stones in a glass house. You can't. So what happened to all that money, Mr. Beasley? David Beasley, the director of the UN's World Food Program, where $8.4 billion was raised for the hungry, and we are still dealing with world hunger. Do I think rich can be involved in trying to deal with hunger in the United States, and specifically rich people in the United States? Sure, I think. I said on the show, they can literally start a program with their resources, not spend their money, use the city as a test city on how to deal with homelessness and mental health and hunger, and you can use that as an example of what you could do in cities across America. And I think it can happen. I think it can happen with Elon Musk and all the ultra rich. And I always wonder, like, that's why I'm not even gonna lie. That's why I'm shooting for a billionaire status. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm a capitalist. I want to shoot for billionaire status. And one of the reasons why I'm shooting for billionaire status, because I want to get in the room with billionaires just to see what they're talking about, really. Because I always think, people on the outside, and they say, well, the billion, just tax the rich, and, the billion, if you take a percentage of what their wealth, and that small amount can actually eradicate hunger and homelessness. And I'm like thinking of the numbers. I'm like, yeah, true. Because when you go how much these billionaires and the ultra rich is making, continuously making, right? You think, of course they can do this. And I always wonder, so with all this money, what do you guys do from day to day? Like, what do you think? What do you talk about? Like, I want to get in the room, like, actually to talk to, like, to Gretchen, how are you? Gretchen, how are you? And, I don't know. Gretchen, listen, I have this great idea. Gretchen, Nova, how are you doing? Yes, I'm here. I'm here. It's good to see you, Nova. Gretchen, listen. How you doing? Oh, would you like a Chateau Leblanc just for the drink? Sure. Pour me a glass. A little. Oh, it doesn't come with ice? No ice. Okay, fine, sure. Yes. How are you, Nova, in your new billionaire status? How are you taking this new status and symbol? It's cool. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. All right. Hey, what's up, Pip? How you doing, man? I'll get to you in a second. Yeah, so Gretchen, check this out. I got this idea. Yes, I'm listening. So you have money, right? You're worth about $800 million. No, about $1.5 billion. So what do you do with your time, Gretchen? I just play tennis and I hang out with my grandchildren and I do all those sort of things that pass my time. Oh, okay. That's great. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, that Chateau LeBlanc is pretty good, man. Have you ever tried Grand Marnier? Sure, it's great. You should try it, man. It's not $1,000 glass, but I'm sure it can hit that palate real well. Anyway, so what else do you do with your time? Well, that's pretty much it. Hey, I got this idea. How about we just take just try it for shits and giggles, all right, Gretchen? How about we take a portion, just a small bit? I got a billionaire status too. I'll throw into the pot as well. A percentage, small percentage. And then we can actually, start a fund on a monthly basis we could collect over a year's time. And it's not right away. We can hire someone, right? That's gonna Gretchen. I don't have time for this. You don't have to lift a finger, Gretchen. We can get someone. You can have, I don't know, Jeeves hire someone. He's skilled in his background. Okay, more. What else? Okay. How about we do this? So we put money in it every month, every week. Keep your money for your greats. I'm not trying to take food out of the mouths. Just a small little snap off the, side of the mouth. Anyway, so we're going to throw this money in there. And then we'll save that and we'll put it together. And then the Jeeves, and when he hires the right person, they can kind of, steward this money, look over it. We're going to make sure it's transparent because we don't want to think we're stealing money, right? This as a huge organization that we're going to create. So anyway, we'll go to L.A. You've been to L.A.? I've been to L.A. several times. I live there. I love their wine there. You should. Yes. We're going to get back to that in a second. Here's some cheese and crackers. I love this type of cheese. It's pepper jack and might be too peppery for you. But anyway, so we'll go to L.A., right? And we'll hire probably, summertime. Next summer, we'll throw in and we'll pitch in. We'll talk to, we'll hang out with this new hire that, Jeeves brought on. And then we'll think of a plan, right? Think of a small plan. It doesn't have to be super long, 10, 15 pages. How much we're going to get. We're going to talk to the governor of California. Oh, I know the governor. Oh, okay, great. I'm glad you guys know each other. You've been to a couple of soirees. Fantastic. So I don't have to kind of break the ice between you guys. So anyway, we'll go over this stuff and then we'll talk about, the money that we're saving here. We'll get Pip. Hey, Pip, come over here for a second. Hey, I got a thing. Hey, Pip, please just sit at this table. Yeah, bring the cigars. We'll smoke that later. I kind of like that brand. It's like, yeah, sit down. All right, so we're going to do, Pip, I'm just talking to Gretchen here. We're going to put in X percentage of what we, with our wealth all together, put into one pot. We're going to go to L.A., right? And we're going to see what we can do. We're going to make up a plan and we're going to talk to the governor. Maybe the government can kind of co-sign this. Maybe they can match our funds and, give us some time because these things just don't work out in a couple days. I mean, of course, we're not going to do this tomorrow, but hey, let's give it a year. Let's give it a year's time. And by next year, the money that we match, maybe we could get some politicians on board. We can match those funds, and then whatever we come up with, we can figure out how we could do low wage or inexpensive housing for the mentally ill or the homeless. And I'm not saying anyway, give this money away. Never. Isn't that Pip here? Pip, isn't that socialism? No, it's not. I'm not talking about socialism, Pip, man. I'm not talking socialism. I'm talking about setting people up where they get to get their own jobs and probably they can work in the wine fields, right? Crush some grapes and make it for Gretchen, that fine wine she's drinking now. So then you could give them some training a little bit and they could just, possibly, start small, work at McDonald's, work their way, give them a little bit of training, something for the money so we can at least get them off the streets, get them off of drugs. This will be a challenge. And Mark over there, Mark, he paints every day. He's trying to be like Bob Ross, and that's all he does. He paints day in and day out. Let's give him a challenge. Let's bring Mark on over, you, Pip, and Gretchen, all of us together. And then We can go to LA, we can sit down and we can see the challenge, a real challenge, and see if we can eliminate homelessness in LA. How about that? Gretchen, you think you can do that? Hey, listen, I mean, what else are we doing with your time? You're playing with your grandkids, Pip. I don't know what you do. Mark, man, all you do is paint every day. Let's just sit together and see what can happen. And they'll report to us. You don't have to be hands-on. They'll report back to us every 6 months. And then we can find out. It has to be measurable, right? We just don't want to seem like we're taking money. So what we'll do is make it measurable and then, make sure by the certain amount, there's 20,000 homeless. Say by year 1, we'll reduce it to 15,000. And in year 3, we'll reduce it down to 10. And the 5, let's see. Hey, and if it works, we can spread it to other cities. You don't have to break a sweat. I mean, are we all in this together? Come on, can we do this? All right, let me share that Chateaubriand. Let me just taste some of that more. Are we game? All right, we'll see each other next week. All right, Mark, I'm with you, man. I'll bring my ease. Maybe we can paint together my easel. Hey, I got a little wrist. I got a little wrist action. Pip, man, look, man, we'll talk next week on the golf course. All right, Gretchen, you're looking lovely. always. I'll see you next time. Hey, man, that's how we could do. Simple. That's the scenario. Because I want to be a billionaire because I got to be in the room because you can't have that much money. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what it'd be it. I mean, simple. We can deal with it. The bureaucracy will cut it out. Keep the overhead low. Be transparent, put it online, and we can measure this. I would love to be in these rooms, man, because I want to know these people have ungodly amounts of money and they do nothing with their time day in and day out. And if you could just give them something to do where really they're rich, they really don't have to do nothing. They get older, like I said, they hire somebody and they'll come back. And you know what? Maybe they don't really care, but maybe it looks good for them that hey, you know what? Gretchen, I don't know, St. Croix, I don't know her last name. She actually helped solve homelessness in LA. My God, she's a great person. And they probably hardly touched the plan, the execution of it, the talk. All she did was she talked with high government officials and said, hey, this little plan of mine was over at our party the other day in England. Yes. And he thought of this wild idea to figure out homelessness. But then, the fact is you want to at least try to put something in their head. Maybe it can be done. A lot of people is laughing at me right now. I know a lot of people laughing. They're saying, please, Bobby, get out of here. Ain't nobody going to do something. But I really would like to see that. Elon looks like a pretty open-minded guy. You can sit down with him just like I see Kanye West hanging out with Elon. They look like they're buddies whenever they get together. What do they talk about? And I can't really think much because Kanye's on his own trip. He's stuck in his own head, right? He's shaving off his eyebrows and then doing wild, crazy. He's got his own modeling line. And you got to dress like a friggin' hobo. I don't know. Anyway, I would love to do that. Okay, versus battle, man. I missed the versus. Versus, not even versus battle. Versus actually, shout out to Swizz and to Timbaland. They're actually expanding the Versus brand into video gaming. And it turns out, and I missed it, I got to see if it's online. It was a... Can I finish? I know. Thank you. So, so they doing this Versus thing, and it's... Shout out to Swizz Beatz and the Timbaland. It's a game battle thing. It's Call of Duty. Lil Jon, Lil Tech. I don't know who Lil Tech is. I know Lil Jon. And versus Big Boy from Outkast and Big Sean going at it on Call of Duty. So I missed it. I saw a little bit of it, but it looks cool. I think it's great how they expanded. And actually, the Amigos performed. And they say it's like it was from 6 to 9. It was on the Fight channel, on the Fight app. I think it's dope. And they also have Versus Sports. I thought that was pretty cool too. So anyway, I look forward to see where they're going to take Versus. They actually was talking about Versus comedy. They're getting I think that's dope. Do a comedy Versus with say I don't know, any comedian. Name your favorite. Eddie Murphy versus I don't know. Arsenio Hall. How about that? Yeah. That would be dope. I think that would be super dope. Yeah, anyway. Shout out to that man on Versus, man. Big ups to they doing the thing. All right, so Eric Adams, last thing I'm gonna say, Eric Adams is the mayor now. And I knew this was gonna happen. So Eric Adams is the mayor now. And let's see what happens. I can't say honestly, I'm not a big fan of this. I'm not a big fan of how what Eric Adams is gonna do. And I can't say, oh, just give him a chance. But you know what? I've given a lot of politicians chances, and it hasn't worked out. But I can say, let's see what happens. All right. And if there's anything that goes crazy, you know what New Yorkers, you know what we got to do. If he does anything crazy, we got to, meet him head to head. But yeah, Eric Adams is the winner over Curtis Sliwa. We had the comptroller is Brad Lander. He won. He's a New York City comptroller. Jumaane Williams, he's a public advocate for New York City. That's dope. I like Jumaane. Alvin Bragg is a district attorney for Manhattan. Vanessa Gibson is the borough president for the Bronx. Antonio Reynoso is a borough president for Brooklyn. Mark Levine, Democrat, borough president of Manhattan. Donovan Richards, he's the borough president for Queens. And Vito Vasella, he's the borough president for Staten Island. And Joanne Ariola, she's the city council for Queens District 32. We have Ina Vernikov, she's the city council for Brooklyn District 48, and such and so forth, and such and so forth. So those are some of the few, because there's a lot of winners for the city council. It gets pretty long, but those are the main ones: the mayor, comptroller, borough president, such and so forth. So yeah, so we'll see what happens, man. Of course, as I said before, it's not about the first, the second, the third. It's not about first black woman, first black man. It's about what are you going to do for the people? What policy are you going to put together that is going to be that's going to benefit the people, in this particular case, New York. So we'll see how that turns out. Yeah. So, yeah, folks, I'm done. I'm finished. I'm finished babbling. You know what I do. So, I'm making some moves as always. I'm coming together, as you know about the show, with Lyfeblood. I can't believe 2021 we're almost over with 2021. We're almost over. I can't believe it. And we're here. And as I said, there's a lot of things that's happening. I just don't want to give it up to you guys just as yet. But we're continuing on with the show and getting it together. And I'm crossing my fingers on some things. And yeah, I'll keep you updated. And of course, with Lyfeblood, it's still kicking off. People, there's so many things that I got in store for the next iteration of Lyfeblood when we take it to the mobile app. It's gonna be beautiful. Already mapping it out already, and talking with some folks, and hopefully things can turn up. As I said, 2021 or 2022, whatever in whatever way, I'm telling you, in the near future, we're gonna take it to the next level for the brand. And really reaching out to you guys out there in the World Wide Web. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for hearing me mess up and all that good stuff. And yeah, you know what? I have to say, GCOM Radio will expand. It's not just going to be me. I'm going to get more hosts on the show, co-hosts. We're going to take it into a studio, the whole setup, the whole rigmarole with cameras and everything. There's definitely a direction where I want to take GCOM Radio, and where it can be a full-fledged studio where we could go to and sit down and chop it up with people. Hopefully we could chop it up with billionaires. As I said, I will bring Gretchen, I will bring Mark, I will bring Pip, and really get on the show and talk about it. It's like actual billionaires. And Warren Buffett, and you get him on the show, and really just chop it up and see how we can actually move the needle in the other direction for the. And you know what? There's still going to be billionaires. A lot of people saying, yo, you are wasting your time. But isn't it great TV? Wouldn't it be great TV? Yeah, man. So yeah, that's where GCOM is going, and you know we're gonna have people who's gonna be on the ground and reporting and letting the people know, you guys, and what's happening in different parts of the world and what's happening in America. And that's how I envision GCOM Radio. I just never talked about it, but it's just another thing as we grow, as we build out, in when it's time, in the proper way that we're gonna do it, when things, you know, start firing in the right places. That's where we're gonna go with GCOM. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's like third on the list. And first and foremost is Lyfeblood and doing the event and doing all those things. And when things are are the sun, moon, and stars and planets are aligning in the right way, then definitely we're going to go in that direction and really expand GCOM to where it needs to go. So it's just the beginning, guys. You're at a part in my life where everything is just the beginning, and we're going to definitely take it where above and beyond. So, all right, guys, thank you for listening. I'll see you and talk to you guys next week. Hopefully everything is going to be bigger and better for you guys in your own lives, and be better human beings. All right, folks, I'm out. Peace.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.